know that. Oh, this is
Hi,
live?
everybody, and welcome to Culz Paranormal Studios Pop Culture. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but as our wonderful friend Nolan, aka Sky Rizzy, did bring us this awesome book last year, we've all been hyped for almost exactly a year now because I think we read it last March together. And here we are now to discuss this film that has come out. And we have the usual players here. We, of course, have Mr. Keegan himself. How you doing, Keegan?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Grayson, before you get sucked into that black hole looking thing there, how are you?
I'm not going to say what I was originally going to say. I'm doing fantastic. We are doing great. We're doing.
Don't even want to know what you were going to say.
No, you don't.
Then we have the undisputed, probably MVP that they didn't really focus on in the movie, the fifth Beatle, Mr. Nomad there. How you doing, Nolan?
That's me. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
And last but not least, the experiencer of things on Earth and in space, Mr. Nick Burgles. How are you today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I thought you were on mute there for a second because that took a real long time for that question.
No, it's my computer. I don't know. It's my computer. It's still acting up.
I just felt like you had to really be like, "How am I doing today?"
Right?
No, I'm doing real good. Check Instagram afterwards. I'm doing real good right now. No, I do have a question for Nolan though, just kind of related to his name.
Kick it off. Go for it.
Do you know who the quote unquote fifth Beatle is? Who
right there.
We're talking about Pete Best.
Yep.
He was, for those who don't know, he was the original drummer for the Beatles. Something I think is funny because I'm a huge Beatles fan, but one of the quotes that I love the best, somebody asked the other Beatles, I don't remember if it was John or if it was Paul at the time, they were like, "So is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world?" And he just laughed and was like, "Ringo's not even the best drummer on the Beatles."
Yeah, like
yeah. Yep, I love that quote.
Ringo is like the world's luckiest guy. He was just in the right place at the right time and was "Yep, let's do it."
But you'll hear me say this time and time again, gents. I'd rather be lucky than good, So,
and you know what? I think that segues perfectly into this movie right here.
Rather be lucky than good, man.
That's kind of the definition of this movie.
Kind of, actually, yeah.
Because he's literally a school teacher.
He is a school teacher. He is not an astronaut, as he so eloquently put.
So one thing I did want to ask first off, because I know this was a big thing when we talked about the casting and stuff. Nolan, now that you've seen it, your thoughts on Ryan Gosling as
Hold on. Before we do any of that, I want to warn everybody, this is going to be a spoiler conversation. The movie has been out for a few days. If you are, you haven't seen it yet, don't watch this whole thing. I mean, if we want to do just real quick, if you enjoyed it or not, maybe, and then we can get into specific details. So anybody that's watching can kind of get that early, like, should I see it or not? And then if you haven't seen it, get out of here. Don't ruin it for yourself if you haven't at least read the book.
Right.
So Nolan, kick it off. Yes, no, would you recommend?
Oh, absolutely, 1000% would recommend. It's one of those ones that I'm, big advocate, obviously, of the book. But after seeing the movie, I was like, man, like as a person who is relatively like snobbish sometimes about adaptations of books to movies or shows or whatnot. Absolutely, 1000%. 2 thumbs up, an actual like good 2 thumbs up. And
I think you mean 2 thumbs down.
You're right. I'm sorry. 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. If you see the movie, you'll get that. It does mean good things, guys. Don't worry.
But definitely 2 thumbs down. And if you get a chance, I would 1000% go and check it out. Go and see it.
Nick, would you recommend people see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never actually read like a lot of books before seeing movies typically, so this was like one of my first experiences having read the book first and then seeing the movie. And
I love that.
Yeah, I thought the movie did a really good job, and and as we
and Grayson, I know you were telling us really early on. You said definitely go see it, right?
Allegedly, yeah.
No,
I will say. No, go ahead, David.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, famously, I did have my issues with the book. I did enjoy it, but there was just, some parts of the book, especially some of the narration tools that were not my favorite. But movie definitely took all that, chopped it all the way out. Most of the stuff that was good about the book, definitely the movie, made me still enjoy the movie. I'd still recommend it. I was not really super into it going into it, but they definitely made the experience of the movie better than my experience with the book. So
no, that's good. That's fair. That's not usually what you hear about adaptations, so that's awesome to hear. Personally, I would say I think it might be the best movie of 2026 so far. I think they did a fantastic job. Very, very well done. And yeah, no, definitely worth seeing. And we'll go into details. Keegan, what were your thoughts? Recommend?
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend this one. I think it's going to be a strong contender towards the end of the year, even for like best film.
Oh,
I really enjoy
Oscars already, huh?
Absolutely.
Maybe not Oscars because
I could see maybe visual effects.
Visual effects for sure, because it definitely excels at that. And I love that they kept the storytelling aspect of how Grace finds out information intact, because I really enjoyed that part in the book. So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Okay, so for all of those who have not seen the movie yet, if you don't want any spoilers, get out of here now because we're going to go into details. But for those who were just here for that little bit, thank you. We love you. We'll see you next time. After you see the movie, come back and comment, watch the rest of this. All right, Keegan, go ahead. Whatever you were going to ask.
All right, so going to Nolan, because I know when we did our review of the book, we just found out that Ryan Gosling was, cast as Grace. Maybe not so hot on the idea there, but how are you feeling post seeing the movie, Nolan?
So yeah, so it's one of those ones that huge Goss fan anyways, you know what I mean? Like I do like Ryan Gosling. So that's not the issue, you know what I mean?
Just how you pictured the character in your head, right?
Right. Like it's always that one thing, right? Because like that's how reading a book works, right? Is you read the book and then you go, I formulated an opinion of this guy, or like how, you know what I mean? Like you use.
Thank you for explaining to us how books work.
When you read the pages and then you just
he wasn't joking when he said he could be snobbish about books earlier.
Yeah.
You open
the book and sometimes you read and form sentences and thoughts.
Left to right.
So let's start with the history of the alphabet. Let me tell you, guys.
Listen,
left to right, unless you're reading a manga, in which case it's right to left, actually.
That is true, yes. But no, it's one of those ones that like everybody, at least me, right? You know what I mean? I don't know about everybody, but I formulate the way somebody looks or how I think they act, or
Absolutely.
Because I've seen a lot of movies and stuff like that. I cast people in my brain as well. Like I'm like, oh, who would be good for this role? This guy or this girl. Or
I think we even had a whole conversation when we did the book about who we would cast.
Right.
Correct.
And so like first thing pops into my mind, Ryan Gosling's not the first one that pops in, right? Like I said, even though I think Gosling's a great actor, honestly, dude has a lot of range. And it's one of those ones that's funny because like in the past couple weeks, like leading up to this, I've seen a couple of his movies, like ones that he's been in, like recently. Dude he really does have range, but also he does a lot of great acting with puppets or dolls. And I don't know if anybody else gets that reference from some of his other movies.
Yeah. He does a very good job of acting when there's not necessarily an actor there.
Right. So it's just funny because like it's that's what it is, and I'm glad they used a puppet even more so than like CGI or whatnot. But after watching it though, I do think that he was a pretty great choice, like overall. To answer the question, like he did do well in the role. Again, still not exactly who I would have chosen, but he takes it and he does it very, very well.
So now that you've seen the movie, who would you cast? Who would have been better than him? Because I was even thinking about it and like plugging in anybody, like somebody like Ryan Reynolds would have ruined the movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going with Ryan Reynolds. You know what? And I think what helps, what like lends to like Ryan Gosling's like working and how it like works in this role is we've had a lot of conversations about him in the past couple of weeks too. But it was like one of those ones. It's like if you like, where do you rate Ryan Gosling on a scale of like I guess of attractiveness? And it's like weird because like some people put him at average, right? And it's like I think he's a little bit more above average, but they don't.
So as a group of straight guys, I'm not sure if we're the best to judge.
No, obviously.
But if I had to pick, I would say I think he's like a 7 or 8. I would say that he's like cute without being like hot. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, right? Is that's the that was the whole conversation. The part I was trying to make is like most people would call him a 7 or an 8, which is above average.
Yeah.
But the general woman considers Ryan Gosling to be average, which averages a 5. So it's like if he's a 5, and you know what I mean, you know what I mean, like we consider him to be 7 or 8. It's like, where do the scales mix here? Anyways, slightly off topic, but I consider him to be one of the people that is, like I said, obviously slightly above average, but he's not like a 10. He's not God.
Right.
tier.
He's an attractive guy without being like a Greek god.
Right. So it works in that role, right? Because you're exactly right. Like you couldn't get Chris Hemsworth to be this guy. Like
so
that just doesn't.
I would say if you're talking about like average, I would say that he can play being like a regular guy. Like I believe that he
to some degree like it works out in his favor that he can be your regular guy.
Right.
And I say that in the regard of like he was like pretty, the Playboy, pretty attractive guy, right? In what the hell's the movie called?
Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. There it is. So you know what I mean? So he plays the 10 in Crazy Stupid Love, right? But then you have I think it's The Regular Guys or something like that is what it's called.
He's like a cop. Yeah.
Or he's like a regular detective guy or whatever. And you got that guy. Like,
the nice guy.
La La Land. He's just kind of a regular guy doing gigs in LA and stuff like that. Not even an actor, like musician.
Even look at Drive too. It's the same kind of thing. He's just a guy who's a recluse who ends up driving.
Yeah.
Right. So like he can play that regular guy kind of thing. Like it's just like it's hard for like some people who are a little bit more on the top tier scale of attractiveness to play a regular guy, because you go, hey, get the hell out of here. Like you're
saying like you would not have believed Brad Pitt in his prime as Grace.
Yeah, like Brad Pitt in his prime. No, it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's like you're too handsome for this. Like you're too handsome to be a regular school teacher. You know what I mean? Like in that kind of like situation. So it just doesn't work. But for Ryan Gosling, I think it does work. But like it's one of the ones I honestly I still stick to my guns here from like the book casting of like the guy that plays Ted Mosby. Like it works. Like it would have worked really, really well for him to carry that type of humor that was already.
So you think Josh Radnor would have been a good choice?
Josh Radnor, yeah. So like it just works, right? Because it's he's an everyman kind of situation.
I could see that, but I also think I love Josh Radnor, so I would have been totally okay with that. Like I'll go see whatever. But I do think Ryan Gosling might bring a little bit more of the kind of sympathetic kind of like feeling that I feel like he had to have in the movie, that kind of softness. I don't know if Josh Radnor has it quite as believable, and as lovable.
Softness, yeah.
And I mean, and let's be honest, like even though I personally think Rocky was like the high point of the movie.
Oh, sure.
Right? But I don't think Rocky is sold without the perfect person with him. And I think Gosling did such a good job of making it a buddy film, basically. Whereas I don't know if Josh's acting ability, if he could have done it quite as well. And
now that I'm thinking about it, Zach Braff, I think would have done a probably an equally.
I don't know. Again, I love Zach Braff. Like Scrubs is one of my favorite shows of all time. But he's a little more neurotic than I think.
I can see that, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like the softness, like selling those like harder moments,
I agree with that.
Scrubs, like that he can sell he can be funny and do like the buddy partner stuff, obviously with Turk, but like at the same time, the hardness or the softness that he needs, like in some of those moments, I think Zach Braff would have been believable as well.
Well, and that's where I think Gosling excels is when he doesn't, or he has to act but doesn't talk. Because, I mean, going back to Drive, that was like his whole thing. He didn't really talk. And it's just the expressions. And stuff. Yeah, and I think that's the body language and how he felt like two different characters, even though he was the same character in this movie, right?
But even then, that's the...
Well, I also feel like we have to be realistic, because this movie, this is the most expensive movie, I believe, that Amazon Studios has ever made. And one of the most expensive movies in a long time that's not a franchise movie. So realistically, they did need to put somebody in it that they believed could sell. I think Ryan Gosling was that correct level of A-list star without being he's so A-list that he's going to take over the movie. Without being as much as I love Josh Radnor, him being the star of this, nobody would have cared.
You're probably right.
They would have been like, "Oh, that's the dude on that sitcom from a decade ago." You know what I mean?
though too is like, because I know we get into this a lot too or whatever, right? It's like, okay, so we take this book that everybody loves or everybody likes, right? And then you take a bunch of no names and you fill it with that, because like that's how it works sometimes. It's like, but at the same time,
I think it depends on the book. I don't think Andy Weir is quite at that level of authordom that they would say whoever's in it, it's still going to do well because it's that book.
Well,
I think you got to be like J.K. Rowling or Stephen King. I think for people to be like, I'm going to see it regardless of who's in it.
Had freaking what's his face in it. Had Matt Damon. Like Matt Damon was the star. That one was full of people. That The Martian was full of actors. You know what I mean? So it's like I really do think he is there. You know what I mean? And that was 2016 when they made The Martian. It was like forever and a half ago, right? So like it's one of those. I think realistically he was there, like specifically off the popularity of The Martian.
Well, I think it's because like people are willing to give him a chance, but I don't think the casual movie going crowd would have gone to this movie as much as they did if it was all no names.
Yeah,
if we didn't know anybody in this movie, I don't see it being, or if it would have been like B-listers, I don't think it would have had nearly as big.
Here's the thing: is like it's also more difficult too, especially for this one, because you have to think about it like this is a bottle movie, right, or a bottle book. Essentially, you're not going to all these crazy locations doing all this kind of stuff with all these characters. It's just Grace and Rocky. Like it's, you know what I mean? So
no, it's you just brought The Martian. The Martian's just Matt Damon on Mars for an extended period of time, with flicks of just random comedians that are just there trying to bring him back home. It's pretty much it. So I mean, it's at the same time, the reason that people went to go see that movie was because Matt Damon was in it. It was just big enough at the tail end of his popularity to bring people into the seats. Same thing happened with this movie. I agree with that. I don't think if nobody really was aware of what Project Hail Mary was, there was a consciousness of it. I will say that, but I think because Ryan Gosling was put in there, it's pretty much what brought everybody that was not even thinking about the book into the seats, because Ryan Gosling is literally them. That's why they all showed up.
And especially with so much good word behind it, they're like, well, I like Ryan Gosling, and people say it's good. So
right. And that's
but
I don't think
to your point, Nolan,
movie.
I will say, as far as like celebrities and stuff, I'm very impressed and very happy that they didn't decide to give Rocky like a celebrity voice.
Well, they were actually going to, but because the puppeteer was so natural in like his actual voice and like chemistry with Ryan Gosling, they're like, let's just make him the actual voice of the character.
I'm glad. I think that would have killed some of the immersion if it. And I did like that scene when they're going through different voice choices, and it was Meryl Streep was one of them, right?
Yeah. She can really do anything. Yeah, like that's what makes it funny. Is like that's what called that part out and that made that part really hilarious. Like, what about Meryl Streep? You know what? She really can do anything. Yeah, like that's like that's great, right? That was definitely hilarious and funny. I did like that part where they were trying to go through the voices.
I've heard. I didn't do it because I actually like to read books, but I did hear one of the voices they cycled through was the audiobook guy.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That did the audiobook for Project Hail Mary. Like he was one of the voices. I was like, that's kind of a cool nod, like bringing him into those people that listen to it.
It's a funny cameo / nod.
Because I mean, they would have been used to him being the voice of everybody, much less Rocky. So
I actually just speaking of that guy, I actually just saw a clip earlier today at an event. Somebody asked him if he had read the book before he did the audiobook, and he said no, he went into it completely blind, and that's the way he likes to do things. So he's like, when you hear me in the audiobook getting emotional, that's me actually getting emotional, reacting to something.
That's cool.
Yeah. So casting wise, what did everybody else think? Did y'all appreciate Gosling? Would you have done somebody else? What do y'all think?
I'm gonna agree with Nolan. Gosling wasn't my first choice. I mean, definitely not who I don't picture him as this like scientific kind of person. That's because I think of Crazy Stupid Love, where he's this player and all that stuff. But no, I thought Ryan Gosling did a phenomenal job.
I mean, I think he did, and I know we've all seen Crazy Stupid Love, like great movie and everything, but we can't pretend that his most popular role isn't Ken from Barbie. So I think going from that being his last hit to this, like Nolan said, it shows his range big time because they were drastically different roles.
Absolutely.
And I think he nailed both of them equally as well. Gosling was not my first choice, when we were talking about casting and all, but I think he fucking nailed it. I can't think of anybody that would have done everything he did better than what he did. There may have been people that may have excelled at like one piece a little bit better, but overall, I don't think anybody else could have done what he did.
Yeah. No, I agree there, because just like everyone else, I think we had our own picture of what he was supposed to look like in our head. And I will say right off the bat, when he was just waking up in space, I was like, I don't know. But then when it really clicked was the scene in the classroom with the kids.
He
and
did
just how
such
he
a
was
good job as a
acting.
teacher.
And I was like, this is going to work. Like, I knew right away. I was like, this is, and I'm a big fan of Ryan Gosling. I think I've seen most of his movies, if not all, but yeah. And like you said, huge range. Like the last one I think I saw him in was Fall Guy. So different characters.
See, and I loved that you loved his character and everything. He was doing great, but you 100% could believe it of him when it came down to you have to go to save everybody. And he's like, fuck no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like you believed that he was going to run, that he was not the hero that was going to go do this, that he was like, I can't do it.
I did love when he was like trying to crawl up into the ceiling. He's like, I can't get up there.
Nope, I can't. Nope.
I'm also very glad that they kept that in.
Yes.
That they didn't say like we need to make him a hero and not look reluctant or anything. Like no, I'm very glad that he still had to get forced to do it.
Well, because realistically, I think that's a very important and pivotal part of the movie, or not movie, but
of the entire story,
right?
Very much
of the story in general, because it's one of those ones that like, because you learn that late, right? Like you go through the story and you're like here and you're like, man, I like this guy. This guy's awesome. And you're learning through like flashbacks or whatever. You're like, man, this guy kind of is a hero. And then like that hits that pivotal point or whatever, right? Where he's like, no, find somebody else, bro, not me. You know what I mean? And then you go, oh wow, this guy's honestly kind of a dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, he kind of pulls the rug from you know what I mean? Of thinking that he's this good guy in the meantime, while he's trying to figure out all this kind of stuff or whatever. So like it's like that. It is that like pivotal point into the third act where you're like, that's kind of a shitty move, bro. Like, why, right? And then, you know what I mean? And then of course, obviously, the stuff after that comes into the whole like, well, I'm gonna die. I've made peace with it. Like, they have that revelation or whatever. And he's like, you go, okay, he is actually kind of a good person. You know what I mean? Like you go, okay, so at the end of it, he really is a good person.
He was definitely just scared.
Yeah.
So and that's what it is, right? Like who wants to be sent to their death? Generally, nobody.
No.
I will say, I do think that it was a huge, like they got the message better across in this than the book. I think adding in that one line where the guy's like, it's just about finding one person to be brave for, and then he actively made that choice to be brave for Rocky.
Right.
That was like who he cared about. I thought that was really, really well done.
It does drive it home. And I think that's like,
because you don't really have that like decision make, like it doesn't really happen in the book the same way. That line's not in it. It doesn't show so much more that it's about the bond between those two as much as this like wider story.
Well, because it was even more. I mean, it's even more so like, of course, like driven across like in this way or whatever. When Rocky jumps out of his little pod to like save him or whatever, right? Like when they're all
that was so well done.
Right. So like you have like that part, but it's like, okay, so Rocky sacrificed himself. So like, of course he's going to like sacrifice himself for Rocky, but even more so like the part that is kind of like not wonky about it, but like it would be different if he had somebody back home, like a daughter or a wife or something like that he's like doing it for, but he doesn't. So like, it's just, Rocky turns into that person or whatever that he's like, you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice myself for this, or willing to do whatever. Right. So
see, like Grayson was saying about how he didn't like everything necessarily in the book. One of the things that I definitely said in our talk about the book that I didn't like was the ending.
Right.
But I feel like building up that relationship stronger between him and Rocky, I liked it a lot more in the movie than I did in the book. Of him going there to the planet.
The ending was definitely a lot better executed in the movie than it was in the book, just because you actually got to feel the emotion in the actual, just it's a movie, so they build it up. There's the music and everything else. So the actual ending was a lot better and much more impactful, in my opinion, in the movie than it was in the book.
Grayson, you nailed it. And the kids, the little Rocky like kid, they were so cute. All the little
it was one of those things like, so I don't know why it didn't cross my brain. I thought they would all look the same. So like when it like pans to it, it just shows all of them and they're like different. I go, yeah, that makes sense. Like
lots of different little rock character things. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they all just don't look like Rocky. Like I was expecting them to all look the same, but even obviously you would even have diversity amongst Iridians, I guess, or whatever. So like that, it made sense. But like seeing them, I go, oh yeah, that does make sense. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and they're all, they look different or whatever, whatnot. However, I was like, I guess I pictured it differently in the book than I did like in the movie for the ending bit on the little like Earth sphere thing that they built him.
I thought it was smaller in the book, like in my head. Like in the movie, it's massive, and you're like, all right, this makes more sense where you can like live
I get it in the
like
movie. Yeah, in the book, it sounded almost like a little house, and that's it.
Right. I'm thinking, like in the book, I'm thinking like SpongeBob pineapple. Like if I'm being honest, like that's what
it's almost like a zoo exhibit that they can come visit him.
Right. Yeah. Like I picture like SpongeBob, big pineapple house, and that's about the size.
It's kind of like how Sandy had like the house with the tree. Yeah, and it's just that one little thing.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking it was like this giant, massive Pacific.
They even made him like a beach with water and like
real water and stuff.
Yeah.
So because I was slightly confused, like when he gets there, and I'm like, why is Rocky in a bubble? What's going on here? Like what are we doing?
Now, speaking of that whole part, there's something that I don't think they didn't even touch on it in the movie. That was a pretty big point in the book. The reason why he was basically sacrificing himself is he's not going to have enough food to go really do anything, right?
Right.
And they have to discover that he can eat the astrophage or whatever it was to make like a sustainable resource for him to like live to make it all the way to wherever.
Correct. Yeah. So because I know Grayson said it or whatever, like, because I know he wasn't a big fan of the science sometimes, like bogging things down.
I think they went with science. It was Ryland's just inner monologue, continuously yapping nonstop.
And he went over a lot of things more than once. Like, oh, remember what we found out? Yeah, I get that. So, I agree. As somebody who's more of a like humanitarian, I mean, humanities and English guy, I didn't need as much of the numbers, but I know some people dig that.
That is fair. Now, the thing is, for me, is like that's where I'm like, I'm a little miffed. You know what I mean? Like, just because it's like there wasn't a lot of science in this. Like, they didn't give a lot of the science background or a lot of the stuff. Like, they kind of just glossed over a lot of stuff. They go, oh, we click this eats astrophage. Okay, good to go. And it's like you could have given me a little bit, but I understand why they didn't, is because like you said, like even in the book, like Grayson's like, I'm just kind of tired of this dude talking about this shit constantly. It would slow the pacing down and it would kind of bog things down a little bit. So like
another thing, tell me if I'm wrong. They do more than one spacewalk in the book, don't they?
Yeah,
they do like several, right? Because I remember feeling very repetitive how many times they did that. So I'm glad the movie basically got it down to like one.
That was part of my issue with the book too. It was like every time he went to go do a spacewalk, we had to hear the full cycle. I put one foot in, and then I make sure they go up the leg. I put the other foot in, and I'm like, just say you put the fucking spacesuit on. Let's just say that.
Let's keep pushing.
And I get it. It can bog things down, like, you know what I mean, for like a movie or whatever.
No, to your point, I think they did more science in The Martian than they did in this movie. I feel like it's, kind of equivalent, but I feel like they did much more in The Martian than they did in this, which, I mean, I get the Lord and Miller are more focused on, the buddy story, which they're fantastic at, but it does feel like The Martian was definitely a lot more science heavy.
Because, like, at some points he was sitting there, he's like, okay, well, if you mix this, like, with that or whatever, he's like, you get water. I need water. Like, it just... So it like makes sense, right? Like for like The Martian or whatever, because he broke down a lot of the science and things like that. This, they didn't give anything. Like it wasn't, they didn't say, oh, why does the what's the word? Not the astrophage, the other one. The
Tal'Amoeba?
The
Tal'Amoeba, yeah. So like they didn't give the explanation of like why the Tal'Amoeba is the counter. You know what I mean? They were just like, oh, this just eats it. Like that was it. It was like, oh, keep them in check so they can't breed. And it's like, but why? Like they didn't give any explanation on why. You know what I mean? They just glossed over it like, oh, Tal'Amoeba did this. That's good to go.
I think to the point
I feel like for the casual audience, though, that's enough.
Slow down the pace.
Yeah, I was gonna say to be fair, when it came to the Tal'Amoeba eating the astrophage, they showed it with the microscope, just showing that it eradicated.
Sure, but at the same time, like for me, it's again, like it's just that little bit of extra sciencing, right? Of like, why does this Tal'Amoeba? Oh, because it has so much nitrogen in it that it blocks out whatever from like it's like, oh, well, how did we find that? It just, I get it. Like it's a whole like show don't tell kind of thing, which is great. I love that in movies or whatever. But like it's one of those ones that like some sometimes you just need that little extra exposition to go with the showing of whatever it is.
Well, I feel like this is definitely a Deadpool 3 Wolverine, like short Wolverine kind of thing, where I understand and I feel you, but if we were to have something like that, it would bog down the pacing so much to where it would feel almost unentertaining in a movie.
I'm not saying also too, there are things like I like the fact that he, like in the book, one of the main things when he first discovers Rocky is the fact that everything's made out of xenonite, and he's like, that's not possible. Xenonite's a gas. And then they kind of allude to that with the scanner, be like, that's xenonite, that can't be possible. And then he scans it again, he's like, xenonite, it's a solid. It should be a gas, but it's a solid. So there are some things they kept in
terms of this, like, of the science and everything. I totally agree with what you're saying, Nolan. Like, it does make it a little more immersive to explain some more of it. Yeah. Grayson, though, I think they were definitely going on what you were saying about too much of it definitely bogs it down, especially for a casual moviegoer. And it's already a 2.5 hour movie.
I don't need like 7,000 explanations. You know what I mean? Throughout
you're saying a little bit more. I get it.
I'm just saying like a little bit more. At the end.
I will say, I actually read. There was an interview that they did with the filmmakers and such, and one of the things that they are really sad about that they had to cut out of the movie that they really wanted to have in there was the entire scene of nuking Antarctica to release all the gases and everything to keep the planet warmer, hopefully a little longer, kind of thing.
A little longer,
they said they wanted to do that so desperately, but when it got towards the end, they were just like, we can't keep it in.
Cameo thing or whatever when they get the Beatles, right? When she gets the call that they're in, she's obviously like on a sub or on the.
I thought that was fantastic. I loved having that little bit of seeing it back on Earth and like the water's frozen, she's older, but that Earth is still there and they're gonna, I thought that was great. Right. Like, but even the Beatles thing, they if you didn't know that in the book, you wouldn't have really necessarily caught that on in the movie.
And that's what I mean. Like, that's another thing is they glossed it. Like, I'm not saying that there needed to be
which I'm fine with. I mean, it wasn't important. So it's okay that they're not called that, but
or like Africa,
really, it's a 2.5 hour movie. Like, there's only so much that they can put in there if they're going to have this flow. Which, I mean, again, do I wish there was a little bit more science in there? Absolutely, but at the same time, it's like if you remember from The Martian, the parts you remember the most are not the parts where he goes into all the science. Remember him doing like, the experimentation. You remember some of the science stuff, not all of it. You remember the stuff where he like, tries to get the rover jump started and then just ends up exploding and, knocks him back, all that kind of stuff. You remember the action parts. I will say that they have the science, but it's not what you remember and it doesn't build up to anything, like grandiose or like worth a movie.
They were saying in the first couple of drafts, they said in the first couple of drafts of this movie, there was more science, like you were saying, because the book is very science-based. Like we all talked about that when we read it. They put a lot of that in there that you're like, I can believe this is real. So that was great for the realism of a sci-fi book. Like, no problem there. However, as soon as they started really getting into it, they realized that the heart of this movie was the relationship between Rocky and Grace.
Is really the buddy cop business.
And and it's a buddy movie in space. So that's what they said we needed to focus on and we needed to have as the heart of the movie, because that's what the movie was about, was that relationship. And that's why a lot of the science got
really, really well. And that's not my complaint. It's just, you know what I mean? Like for me, I forget that I'm just a huge nerd and I do love the sciencey aspect of this like science fiction stuff. So like for me, that's what it is, right? Like it's like realistically, if you gave me a director's
and for people like that,
right? That's what I mean. But like
they've got a whole manual for you.
Like 3 and some change, you know what I mean? Of like whatever, and they added some of the scenes.
Because think about it, anything they would have added, even a 2-minute scene of more science, that's 2 minutes you got to take away from Rocky.
Sure, I guess. Again, like I said, I forget that I'm a nerd and I love the science aspect of it, right?
But do you love it more than you love Rocky?
Yes, but as far as like the casual,
so you'd rather have 5 more minutes of how astrophage works than Rocky?
This man's
what you're telling me?
All right.
Yeah, again, I'm weird, bro. I'm telling you, I like nerdy science bit. What can I do? So, but yeah, it's one of those ones that, like I said, just a little 2-minute explainer or whatever. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, okay. Well, what happened? Well, we learned that this is made of this.
It's really funny that you're the one doing this when like you read the book.
I know.
I was about to say,
I'm aware.
So it's not like you were left out. You know what the science.
I do know what the science is, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I know what the science is.
Well, what about everybody else?
To know what the science is. Does that make sense? It's like I want everyone else to know what the science is and why. So, but I don't know.
I can almost guarantee anybody nerdy enough that they need that science read the fucking book.
Probably read the book,
or is gonna go read it.
So, yeah, but no, it's one of those ones that, like I said, I do forget that. But for the casual viewer, Grayson's right. Like it's it doesn't need it. It's not in there. It's
I thought,
pacing.
honestly, I think the only reason to have more of that science in there would have been if more of the problems were brought up, like the food issue, the fact that the Talmiba was eating into the astrophage, and like because that was a much bigger problem in the book than it was in the movie.
Well,
with all the fuel issues and
because he literally eats a whole thing worth of fuel, like a
there was way more issues with all of that. I feel like that was like the second half of the book's conflict was all of that,
and that's what I'm saying. It's
and I'm
like
okay that it wasn't.
Sometimes
I don't think it was bad.
That's why I'm saying sometimes like the science was important is because it's like that was a way bigger issue.
Yeah, I feel like going back to what Grayson started this with, some of that stuff is actually some of the stuff I didn't like about the book.
Well,
I mean, all I want to say is this: is that I enjoyed the science in the book just because I was able to piece it together as it was happening. I'm like, oh, I am kind of smart. But if you're sitting there watching the actual movie and everything's kind of just going on, you're just like, if you're watching some dude, just the fun part about the book is that if you know what they're talking about and you have at least some base knowledge about science in and of itself, you get to enjoy that as Ryland's, going through that discovery and you're discovering it along with him. That's the fun part. But when you're in the movie, you're just watching some dude talk about science. You're like, I don't care, dude.
I don't care. I don't care.
I want to see you talk to the rock thing. Let's keep this rolling.
Give me more of the rock. Roll around in your bell.
So speaking of Rocky, was he introduced earlier on in the movie story than the book?
No, I don't think so.
No, right about the same. I would say it was about the same pace.
Really?
I think it felt that way though because we did go through that whole scene where he's first recruited to start working on the astrophage in that like makeshift lab. He's there for like 6 fucking chapters. Like it is long going into the science. Because that got cut out, it felt like he was introduced earlier. But again, that's the heart of the movie.
Yeah, plus I was like, maybe they already went through like stabilizing, getting the gravity.
No, he shows up like a third way in the book, I think.
Yeah,
whereas he was in like the first fourth of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like I've watched some other people's reviews or whatever on it, and they were talking about like that opening scene where he's just in the suit, like in the medical suit, like waking up, and it's like they're right. They were like that's like 4 chapters, like of him just waking up.
So like, I'm fine with that being like 2 minutes. That's absolutely fine.
Right. And realistically, that's what it was. It was about 5 minutes of him running around from the stupid medical robot.
If you're talking about adding in science stuff and everything, if they were going to add anything to this that was left out because of the book, I think it would have been the entire thing that only certain people could have been picked to be in the coma.
That would have been more worthwhile for sure.
Because that got left out, and it would have been even more of why Grace had to go. Okay, it wasn't just timing and teaching somebody. It was only certain strands of blood are able to survive it. And even then, they don't always survive it.
Because it's one of those things, like, so for me, like, the way I understood it or the way I thought was, like, because they preemptively drugged him and, like, put him under or whatever is what saved him from that fate, like, of going like that. Not that he had special blood or whatever that kept him.
No,
No. In the book, they all had to get tested, remember?
Yeah, in the book, it was definitely they all had this specific genes that
the 2 that died did have the gene. They just still died. That had but they were only sending people who had the correct gene, and everybody in the project got tested just in case because they were finding out if they had to send other people.
Okay.
Grace was one of the rare people that also had the gene. That was more
one of those things that I just kind of pushed from my brain or whatever for other sciences. Because I always wondered about that. I go, why did he survive? Like I was like, maybe it's because they drugged him preemptively and like gave, you know what I mean? Like whatever the drugs were.
No, that was just written off as some bodies just couldn't, because they also go into that, how it's a very experimental thing.
It was very experimental.
People shouldn't be doing it is basically how in the book they put it, that like it's not ready,
but
they were going to use it.
But what other
choice? Yeah, no, that's the reason he gets shoved in as the person to do it, because nobody else has the gene. It's not so much they can't be taught, it's that nobody else can do it because they can't survive. They knew they wouldn't survive
the process or whatever. Okay,
that makes sense. Because even with the gene, I think your percentage was still like 60% like to survive or something. They go over the numbers in the book, but I feel like that would have been more important to add than more of the, this is why the Talmiba eats it.
Fair. I mean,
just from a story viewpoint,
I would say yes and no, but it's like the whole reason he's there. It's like I would like to know why it worked. You know what I mean?
Hey,
versus,
I will say, if
you want to see why it all worked, there's a little show called Nova. I would check that out. Just saying. Because I mean, on top of all that, I mean, I agree. It would be fun to have the little nerd part of my brain tickled to have the actual science in there, but at the same time, I think Lord Miller do what they always do. They found the perfect way to balance having a science-based story in a visual medium that actually told the story a very compelling way, which they can do great. Even if you look at like Spider-Man or anything else that they've really done, they do it fantastically. But it's the hard part where you have a visual medium where you have to keep an attention of a group and audience of people whose attention span is increasingly getting lesser and lesser every passing day. And I think they did that in droves with this movie, and it was just they made the right call on cutting out the science that was not going to be as visually or mentally stimulating by just leaving the story as what it is, but at bare bones.
I'll also add famously in movies, adding too much science can fucking ruin it. And I will give you the best example ever. Look at what happened when they tried to scientifically explain what the Force was. Who's a huge fan of midichlorians, huh?
Listen.
I will say when it comes, one of the science things they did change from the book to the movie that I actually enjoyed was him breeding the Tau amoeba to be nitrogen efficient. In the book it was a lot longer of a process versus like in this one it was just Grace telling Rocky, he's like, yeah, I found out I just made him nitrogen resistant. I have different breeding them all along while Rocky was sleeping. I thought
because in the book I feel like we had to go through the fucking centrifuge thing like 20 times of him going back and forth to use different tools. It was like, oh my god.
Again, I think that only suffices for people that are nerds like us, well, like me, that love the sciencey shit. So yeah, and I get it. Like I said, for the movie, like again, not climactic, not great, not visually stunning, not whatever. So like I get it. Like I understand why CSI is what it is. They give a couple little droppers in here, some lights, they spin it or whatever, they call it square, and then they give you the results, even though the process is a 12-hour process or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think as long as you got the general idea of what it does, that's all you need for a movie like this.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, so I get it. You know what I mean? Like why they do it or whatever, right?
Yeah, it would have lost people if they would have tried to go further on almost any of these points.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
It would have felt very repetitive, or it would have broken the pacing so much. Because if he would have stopped for 20 minutes to do science,
sure. I'm not saying stop for 20 minutes. I'm just saying I remember reading another nugget or two. Another six lines of dialogue explaining why. Mm-hmm. But I get it, right? Like pacing problems, issues, things like that, or whatever. And Grayson's right. Like people's attention spans are just getting increasingly scarily
yeah, instead
low.
we get movements, character moments that couldn't have really worked as well in the book, like the karaoke scene.
Right.
I don't think that would have worked out well in the book because music just does not translate well.
Not when you're reading it.
Right. Whereas seeing her for that 2 minutes singing that song, and they said so much in their emotions back to each other, looking at each other, it meant totally different things for each of them when it was happening. And it was much more of a character moment than that added to things much more than I think a lot of this overly explaining would have done personally.
See, I think with moments like that and the moment at the end where she's watching the footage back of him from Project Henry made that character a lot warmer to me. She felt very cold and distant.
Well, I liked her a lot more in the movie.
Point is like, look, I'm here for a reason. This is the reason, and I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Like that's just. But
it still showed that she was human and that she was deliberately pushing those away to focus on the mission, which was the point
to get the job done.
But it showed that she was still
Yeah, in the book, it felt like she was like, no, I don't care who is involved or what. I don't care. This die. You'll die.
Whoever it takes to get this done.
Yeah.
Right. But I will say though, like it was nice to see the relationship between him and Rocky. Like because obviously like you don't get the same effect or whatever in the book or whatever when they're sitting there and they're doing karaoke on the ship. When they're, you know what I mean, like on the beach and like he's looking at the fireworks and trying to like.
They're watching Rocky.
Right. Like when you're watching Rocky essentially learn what it is to be.
I love it. I love in the film that he sends back when she's watching the diary. Rocky's like, not Rocky from the movie.
Yeah. Rocky. Yeah,
he's not like Rocky me. Not.
Yeah. So, and like I said, he by far was the best part of the movie though. If I had to choose a part.
That room was also something for the movie, correct? I don't remember that being in the book. A room to replicate Earth scenes.
Oh yeah. That wasn't a thing. I don't remember. That wasn't in the book.
All right, yeah,
I think
and that
was
makes
just
sense because it's much more a visual thing, so it makes sense for the movie.
right.
I don't think they had it in the book because it would.
No,
honestly,
that
it's
was
kind of a waste
because,
of like.
because like that's at the top of the cone or whatever. The ship was realistically where that would have been, and
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense or whatever. I do like the fact that they relatively kept the ship design about the same, which looked cool. You know what I mean? Like in practice or whatever, right? In practicality, like whenever they show it to you.
Yeah,
So
not
was,
a story thing, but just from a filmmaker's viewpoint, I love that the entire Hail Mary ship was all practically made, that it wasn't green screens.
Absolutely.
I think it added a lot to the movie.
Practically made stuff. You'll hear me say this time and time again because it's always been true. I even say it, about like Top Gun or whatever, whether you like that movie or not. Practicality wins, man. Like that shit holds up every day, any day of the week.
I mean, I know you guys don't really like this movie, but Jurassic Park.
I was like,
the dinosaurs look great in the original.
Jurassic Park, man.
Just gonna bring that up.
The animatronics, those things like that, classic.
Like the ones from the original still look better than the CGI ones they use more recently. Wouldn't you say, Grayson?
Yeah.
I just said, why are we talking about Jurassic Park? The movie sucks.
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see the person on the opposite end of the corner. That's why we always talk about Jurassic Park.
I didn't bring it up. I did not bring it up.
No, but you're the biggest dinosaur fan.
Yeah,
you're the biggest dinosaur fan out there.
Go back and watch Jaws, a movie that's 50 years old, and it's still kind of good and holds up.
I'm coming back into this a little later. Are we talking practical effects?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just saying that I feel like the dinosaurs in the original Jurassic look so good and hold up today still because they're practical
100%.
and look better than a lot of the CGI ones that we have in today's movies of them.
Oh,
well, plus when they made that, they reference like for the CGI, the models, they take them outside and be able to match the shadows. So just having reference points, and I just don't think they do that today. I think they just throw it in there and they're like,
it's all computer, brother. It looks terrible, really not terrible, but it
looks terrible. You can say that.
I think the dinosaurs looked like shit in the last Jurassic Park.
1,000,000%, dude. They were.
I'm going to tell you right now. I thought it, but it was a garbage movie, as we all agree. So
it definitely.
See, so definitely. One thing, another tangent.
20 viewings now,
David,
but
it's about the Spinosaurus.
Another tangent about Jurassic Park. I learned recently that the original plan was to use claymation dinosaurs.
It would have looked better than Rebirth.
1,000,000%.
If we would have had claymation dinosaurs, I would have believed it more.
They kept the claymation people on to build the 3D models. Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
but
you know what? So real quick,
practicality wins, man. So
it's been a while since we've done a pop culture movie, but I don't want us to forget this. So we do have to get this question out there and we'll keep going. Keegan, Project Hail Mary, better or worse than Jurassic Park Rebirth?
Jurassic Park Rebirth.
You knew it was coming because Keegan wasn't even looking at the screen. He's like, I know exactly what he's about to ask. He's like, I know exactly what question is about to be asked right now.
So you're asking if Project Hail Mary was better than the newest one, not the original one, right?
Yes, Jurassic Park Rebirth, not original Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Most recent. Yes.
Yes, it was.
It was what, better?
Better, yeah.
Project Hail Mary was?
Yes.
Guys, that's all you need to go see this movie.
Shut the stream down. We're good. That's all we came
for. If you like Jurassic World Rebirth, you're gonna like Project Hail Mary because
yeah.
If you like Jurassic Park Rebirth, your bar is very low, so this movie's gonna blow you away.
I'm a sucker for space movies, and I'm not one that goes like searches them out, but every time I start watching them, I'm like, it's really fun. Like I always really
I only like it when it's good, because space movies for me can go one way or the other. They're either really good or they're awful.
And I say this because, so check this out, right? A few years back, they made an Adam Sandler movie called Spaceman or something like that. And I can tell, listen, I thought, okay, because I read Project Hail Mary or whatever.
I've never heard of that. It's Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this is what
I want to watch it because it is Adam Sandler. I like Adam Sandler, but
no. When did this come out?
I heard it was bad.
That movie is terrible. It's a movie called Spaceman. It came out. Oh wow! It came out a lot sooner than I thought. In 2024. So obviously, I read Project Hail Mary way before that, but I watched it and oh my god, it is terrible.
And it's actually got like a decent cast.
Yes,
I've never heard of that. One of the top questions on Google is Spaceman based on a true story?
Oh my God, I hate people so much. But basically, it's one of those things that Adam Sandler is a dude in space on a mission and goes through essentially space psychosis with a giant spider. And that's why I was like, is this Project Hail Mary in a weird Adam Sandler way?
Yeah, I see. And it says that the alien helps him like confront issues in his marriage.
Yes, because he like cheated on his wife or something like that. And so he's in space by himself and he's just seeing this spider everywhere. And it just,
now,
either way, that movie is
you
awful.
said giant spider. Was the guy that wanted the giant spider from Superman Lives, was he a part of that movie?
He could have been. Very, very well could have been. But yeah, it was, I thought it was going to be good. And I was like, I like Adam Sandler. And good God, that movie was terrible. Just terrible.
See,
now,
Adam
speaking of
Sandler
spider
in a Netflix movie should have been the tip.
What do you guys?
I'm not going to judge.
Now that we've gotten to see, I know we've kind of touched on this before, but now that you've seen it in movie and the whole thing, what did we think of the design of Rocky? Do you guys feel like this was good for the movie?
Really, really well.
I thought they did a really good job with Rocky.
Yeah, the glass dome, his design, all of it. I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
I'm very happy that they resisted the urge to make him cuter.
Yeah.
Oh, just to make him look more.
And I mean, and the character, he ended up being very cute just because of his personality and the way things went. But just like on the surface, like with no face, with no
Yeah. Okay.
It
so
did not come off as like, oh, super cute.
Is that how you guys pictured Rocky? Like reading the book? Because for me, I pictured him a little bit differently, but that's.
I picture him kind of close to this, kind of because I mean, he was like a rock spider, is kind of how he was described. So a little like that, but a little more like engine-like because they kept talking about like the holes
combustion
and things and
right.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what I'm thinking is like to me like you guys know what a Gundam looks like, right? Like the front of a Gundam. I picture like Rocky is just the middle chest piece with like vents like on the front like that, like it's like that with like legs. On, like either on the front or on the top.
See, if we're going like anime or manga inspired, I pictured him as more of like a Pokemon. So
yeah,
he looks like a Pokemon now. Like he definitely looks like
just the way the chest piece of a Gundam generally looks is how I thought it was. Because like I'm looking at like I in my brain I think Rocky is basically just a metal box with like vents on the top with like
Nick,
legs.
That's a great segue. As this is Pokemon's 30th anniversary this year, if Rocky was a Pokemon, what Pokemon type would he have been?
Obviously a rock type. That's a silly ass question.
But is it just rock?
Yes, ground type. For sure.
I think so. Rock and ground are two different types, buddy.
I was gonna say rock and gas, but that's
well. If
gas is not a type. However,
rock and poison. Rock and poison.
Yeah,
well, since he's combustion in the book, like would it be maybe rock and fire?
I could see
it.
If anything,
because we also do say that his temperature, his inner core, was like 14,000 degrees or something crazy, wasn't
something
it?
stupidly hot.
Yeah.
Like Bolton, yeah.
I guess maybe half and half. Fire, yeah, fire.
So you say fire rock or fire ground?
We're
fire rock.
To my knowledge, they can only have two types, right? It's a multi-type of
Correct.
two, not three. Because I was like, realistically, he is rock type, fire type, and fighter type. But that's just me.
I wouldn't say fighter. I don't think he's got much fighter going on.
I'd put him with like honestly, he's like the fifth evolution of Geodude. Is like where I'd put him.
I don't see Golem becoming that. He's much smaller because Golem is fucking huge.
Sure, but you get my point.
Like, so he goes like and then back.
Yeah,
it's like the universe expands and then goes back on it.
I would say Rocky. If we're doing the Geodude thing, it would be an alternate evolution for a different area because like some Pokemon when they go to different regions, they have an alternate evolution path. I would say this is like if a Geodude went to space and got like a Moonstone. Evolves him into Rocky.
Okay, or I was gonna say like even more so, like we could do the Eevee kind of thing where it depends on what you give them, changes the type. This is what happens if you give a Geodude
literally what I just said.
A fire thing. So yeah, that works. Yeah. I like it.
See, what do you guys think about it like an Eevee type? Like it changes depending on what you give it. Like I think that'd be really kind of cool.
That's a good idea, Grayson. I like that. I like that a lot.
I got great ideas. What can I say?
I think we're both following.
I wish I would have been next to you when you were watching this in the theater, Grayson. I bet you would have had some really cool insights.
Just you missed out. That's all I can tell you.
Absolute peak.
So, what is the Pokemon? Is it coughing and wheezing?
Coughing.
Yep, coughing, wheezing. Yep.
The ones
That's
that
poison type.
Yeah, but they look kind of rock. They emit smoke and stuff.
They don't. I don't think they look like rock. They're like big balloons, dude.
No,
Honestly,
they look like rock. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they look like
I don't
rock.
think
They
coughing looks like a rock.
they look like small moons.
They look like moons. Yeah, like
They look like
connected
purple
moons.
balloons.
No, they're
Hey,
like-
no. If you guys want something really fun, look up the Galler region wheezing. They get top hats.
Yep.
They get top hats?
They get top hat. They look like then mustaches. They look like industrial England, like gentlemen.
That's fancy shit right there.
And the hats are like smokestacks.
Coffee. Yeah, I do like.
Do you see it? And they've got like some of the green like smoke makes like mustaches for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic?
That's sick.
It's so silly.
They look like little moons, bro.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that's how I picture Rocky. All right.
That's what I had in my mind right there.
1,000,000%.
Realistically, I think they honestly are supposed to be like molecules. Like they're supposed
Possibly
to
because it becomes the two after the one
Yeah.
like growing.
Like I said,
I think they're supposed to look like germs.
Yes, like
Because
germ
they kind of look
molecules.
like COVID molecules and stuff. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for with that one. So
This just in: Pokemon predicted COVID.
Pokemon defeated COVID. It was a whole game. You should have played it.
it was the whole game, bro. Get it together. But yeah, no.
Pikachu v COVID.
Yeah, like I said, to me, I call it a ground type, rock type Pokemon. For sure.
I think Rock Fire is probably where I would land on it.
Well, see, because of like the atmosphere that he lived in, that's why I go rock poison. To be honest with you, just
No,
because
I
the
can see that
runs
too.
off,
Especially because at least in the book it talks about when he eats or whatever, like black stuff comes out, like smoke or whatever. Remember?
Yeah, like
So-
old smokestack and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, I'm still going with rock poison. That's my.
Well, speaking
Yeah,
of which,
I
that was
think-
great in the movie. I don't like the way you eat. What? How do you
Yeah.
eat? Oh God.
I like that they left that, and I like that they left in the whole like watching each other sleep.
Yes.
That was very cute.
I think that what adds to the buddy cop, like protect your friend kind of situation or whatever, right? It was a little Twilighty there for a second. You know what I mean? It's cool, man. I'll just watch you sleep. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing of like, what, they can't protect themselves when they're asleep. Oh,
Yeah, I did
okay.
like when he was like, "Yeah, sleep like this," and he's like, "Grace, die, Grace, die, die, die,
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
sleep."
Whoa.
And that was sad too when he didn't really understand what had happened to his friends
Mhm.
with the radioactivity and stuff.
That's crazy to me, right? Like, it's does anyone else think that's a crazy like concept to have like such a smart, advanced civilization, but not know some things that are basic like that, or what we consider to be basic, right?
Well, I mean, if their atmosphere was already a certain level of poison and stuff, like toxicity may not have been a thing they ever had to worry about on their planet.
No, it's radiation, not toxicity. You know,
Or, yeah, but they may not have to worry about that kind of like atmospheric concerns because
I think
they,
isn't
like,
that
that could have been their
on top of
first
that, they
ship.
used-
isn't that the actual explanation like in the book? Is that their planet already has a certain
I think there's a certain level of radioactivity, yeah, or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was something they couldn't see it or something.
Right,
'Cause
but
they
I
don't-
think, yeah, because they have no eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also echolocation, so it's like a lot of scientific observation for humanity was optically based. So without that, you're not going to really need advancement if you can't see anything.
right?
I also like, even though it may not have been the most realistic, I like that they sped up how quickly he was able to get to understanding Rocky.
Yeah,
Because it dragged on a long time.
I'm
in
being
the book.
honest. I think that it took. I think it was like faster in the book because that's one thing that a lot of people had gripes with.
I remember reading several chapters of him adding new words constantly. Like it took a long ass time.
But I'm saying like that was one of those things. Like it went from him because it was literally like a week or something to him understanding some basic like voice patterns or whatever. Like essentially kind of learning his like language. Like it was like very very quick. So.
Yeah.
In the book or whatever, and that was like one of those gripes. It's like, damn, you learned his whole fucking language like in 2 minutes, bro. Like that's.
I will
That's
say, it looks like I think that they left out the part that in the book, Rocky gave him the secret of making that stuff, and he sent it back to
Canaanite?
Earth. Yeah, I think they left that out of the movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not really relatively important.
No,
Like-
no, and it's fine because they don't deserve it the way but but it was part of the book. Is like he gave him the secret of it so that he could send it back there so they could build stuff with it and everything.
Which, I mean, like, it was very useful throughout most of the movie. So like, yeah, it's I do like the the puppet shows. The puppet shows are great. Come on, do the puppet. Do the thing. Do I have
No,
to?
we don't need to do the puppet.
Do the puppet. Yeah, that's just come on, do the thing. Okay.
I very much like that they added the voice aspect to it, especially for the movie, because
I think it only works that way, realistically.
Yeah.
Like,
because in the book it was all the reading it, but I guess it doesn't really make a difference to us. But having him be able to basically talk was so good.
it could have worked, but I think using the computer with the voice or whatever does make it better.
So
because,
much
like-
better. He's so much
Like
more of a
even at
character.
the end or whatever, right? Like he's talking to him freely. He doesn't have the laptop or whatever, right? So he's like he understands him and knows the language by now or whatever, right? Or like the
Yeah,
sound thing. So like it's like okay, cool. But yeah, it just because it would have been you reading subtitles with the most of the time. So them using the
and that would have
lap-
gotten really old. Though I like the way they did the noises, like the tones being his like way of speaking. They did
yeah,
a good
because he
job of
sounded
that.
like whales, like whales are the way they just kind of like musical whine groan things. Huh?
Can we get that one more time there? Can we get
I
that
just,
one more
I
time?
just
Nolan?
need a repetition of that just for the audience's full enjoyment.
It was also
That's-
crazy though.
Keegan, I need a recording of that. That's gonna be my new
Hell?
text tone.
Jack,
Oh, Nolan's texting me.
Yeah, it's perfect. It'll work. But no,
Hang
the
on, I gotta take this. Hello?
so
if a man's back, Meg, he'll purr like a walrus.
but overall, I think it was great. I think it was a great translation. I really enjoyed everything about the movie, to be honest. You know, like I said, minus the science aspect or whatever, that's cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, like this is probably one of the best adaptations of a book that I've ever seen. In my
I
humble
absolutely agree.
opinion.
And I can't
So-
even point to anything specific that I'm like, man, I wish they would have, changed this or left this. Like, I think they nailed it. I don't think if I made the movie, I would have done anything different.
You wouldn't change anything, and that's what I mean. Like it's a very, very good, faithful adaptation. Because a lot of times, like I said, they add a character, they take a character out, or something that's relatively important to the story, whatever. Like they didn't do any of that. Like this was like it is about as close as a 1-for-1 as you could possibly get for the most part, and
Without being crazy.
yeah. And I really enjoyed
I mean, like,
it.
I think I told you this, Nolan. I was worried that they might try to shoehorn like a love story in for Grace, like an interest or something. Maybe with the commander or anything.
But that's what I said earlier, right? Like I was like, the reason why it works is because he doesn't have that, because he doesn't have a daughter or a son or a loved one or anything where he's like trying to save them or whatever. And then that's why it just by de facto it becomes his buddy that he's saving, essentially. Is like, okay, well, we got to save Rocky, like, damn, my plans are spent. Like I was okay, but I got to make sure my buddy's good. Like let me fly out into space and go figure out where he's at the cost of my life. Because he did, like, that's the whole thing, is he did have enough to get back or whatever at that point. And
I think it's a testament to the filmmakers that I feel like in that moment, all of us would have made the same choice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. After I've been on a sick ass space adventure with my space rock buddy, I'd probably make that same choice, dude.
And like if I don't go back, he's gonna guaranteed die.
Right. No cap. Like I've just spent I don't know how long they realistically spent, because I don't think it really like says the time frame.
I think in the book it was months. I feel like in the movie it was at least a month, I'd say.
Well, because I was gonna say I feel like it was, and that's what I mean. Like I feel
because
like
they go way more into it in the book with like the food resources and stuff like that, and how many days and.
Well, because he even kind of mentioned it or whatever in the thing. He's like, "Well, I've got a couple years worth of food," like, saying that he's got a couple years worth or whatever to get back. So it's like he's good, I guess, realistically. But yeah, it feels like a lot longer, like as far as like months go, of them hanging out in the book, and it really did feel weakish.
It also felt longer. Sorry, it also felt longer. Like at the end, it felt like for me in the book, it felt like he had been on the Iridian planet for like years, versus in the movie.
Oh, like when he's waking up. Like when they're showing him on the planet,
yeah. At the end of the book, it felt like he had been there for years, versus in the movie,
or at least a year or two.
Yeah,
Not even like I honestly, I agree with Nick on this one. Like, I feel like at this point, like, I feel like he'd been there for like 5 to 10 years, like quite a long time in comparison. Yeah, in the movie, it does feel like he's been there for like
a couple weeks,
a year, couple weeks, maybe a couple months, like
probably a few months because he's learned the language fluently.
Right, like a few months. That's what I mean. Like a few months to a year down the line, maybe. But like in the book,
I guess we could say he learned that maybe on the ship with Rocky on the way back or something.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like he'd been there for at least, 5 to 10 years or whatever, like at the end of that, the book.
But, yeah. And really, like a 10-year time frame is realistic because it took like what, 11 years to
11 years to get there. Yeah.
11 years to get there and 11 years to get the Beatles back home.
So, it's by then, yeah, I feel like he was just been a little older, but overall, not bad. The classroom setup was interesting though. I was expecting him to like get in his own spacesuit kind of thing or whatever, and then just at the end he's like teaching from his bubble while they're on the outside or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. So
I think that's how they did it in the book. It was like a half and half room or something.
Yeah, but like you said, it felt more like a zoo enclosure in the book.
It did.
Like they're like, look at the human.
Yeah, look at that guy.
What'd you learn today in class? Nothing. The teacher's still a human.
So I do like
nothing. Some pink monkey just like talked to us a lot. It was weird.
What the hell's a monkey?
I do like overall that they kept him basically just still being a teacher, like at the end.
Mm-hmm. That was his passion. Yeah,
keeping that because that was his passion, was like actually like teaching kids or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, no, I just little buddy things like overall like throughout the beginning too. Him and was it Carl? Was his name Carl?
Yeah.
The security guard. Well,
I didn't like Carl being part of the group that like drugged him at the end.
That part was kind of goofy, but
it felt like a betrayal.
He's got to do his job at the end of the day.
I know, but I don't think Carl was even involved with that in the book at the end.
No. I do love how everybody was eating Skittles. It's like, a bunch of these. We're just gonna go.
The ones that he ordered and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Do we have an expense account?
No, we don't.
But
I do.
I do. Yeah. But I have an expense
I like that too. I like that too. At the store, we're part of the government. Which government? All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Now I'm curious, what do you guys think about the fact that they definitely removed some of those other science characters, like the crazy guy that wanted to blow everything up and like helped with the Sahara project and all that? Are y'all fine that they weren't in
realistically not needed? And
yeah.
No, not really, but would you have liked to have them there?
No.
Not. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Better, yes, but if
I feel like
it was the way it was.
The only characters if out of those side characters I would have want to have seen more from or hear more about were the ones that ended up going up to space with him,
like Squirrel Girl.
We didn't really get to hear too much about them.
I didn't know she was even in the movie. I was very surprised.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe a little bit more about the people who were in the explosion at the base.
Well, so I was gonna say like that's one thing. Like kind of it was. There wasn't I don't think there was enough of them to like give you impact. It was just like he was here for this scene and then bam, they blew up. But also I think that's part of the thing too of like I was saying, like they really just glossed over that, like the science part or whatever, of some of the things. I just the impact I think of the astrophage melting 2 tons of just metal like that, like how powerful it actually was. I don't think was fully driven home properly. It was just like boom, explosion.
Yeah, we could have had another scene of how volatile it is.
Right. Like another small explosion or something like that, and just being like, that was this small thing, and then you have just blowing the whole. But also, it was also just one of those things too. Like, it didn't get the characters across as far as like how they were, because those characters are very cut and dry. Like in the book, they're like, yeah, we're astronauts. We're gonna go have sex now. We'll see you later. Like it was just. Yeah. And then they end up like blowing each other up or whatever. And it's like, oof, that's tough. So, but I owe you. I will. Oh, that part that wasn't in the book that was relatively interesting. The like send off into space. I owe you 3 bags of vodka. Like the little like
the little funeral.
A little funeral, like adding to the heart, I guess, right, of the movie right there. Is like, yeah, you didn't make a regular face on anything. Cool, you know what I mean? You seemed like a cool guy. You gave me some words of wisdom. See you later. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, he had no idea who they were really when he woke up.
Right.
Mm-mm.
He's just, okay, I'm here with these guys.
Okay,
and they're dead.
They're mummies. Yeah, they're.
Yeah.
Well, and I like how they introduced the alternate time, well, the past timeline, with the memories being like foggy and hazy and kind of split up together at the very beginning.
They did a very good job of doing the flashbacks the way the book did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think that could have been confusing to like some people. So just the way they introduced it, I thought worked really well.
Yeah, and we were worried at first that they weren't going to do it in flashback style, possibly. That it might be more chronological.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad they stuck to that.
I don't think it works if they do that. Like,
I don't think so either.
Well, if you do it in chronological order, because like that's the whole thing is like him waking up and having to figure out who the hell he is, makes
and then not knowing until it's almost over that he didn't even want to be there.
That he didn't even want to be there. Yeah, like that. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like that journey you're going along with and being like, this guy's the hero. He's a good guy until you learn that he just didn't even want to be there.
And I did really like the moments of him looking through like the pictures from the other crewmates and stuff when he's trying to figure out who they are, just like their memory, you know, and realizing that there's none for him.
Yeah, because he didn't have any pictures of him or anything like in his book.
No,
just as like or in his bag. It's just Grace.
The closest thing he had was the hacky sack of the earth.
The hacky sack. Mm-hmm. So I like stuff like that, like in movies where they use little mementos or whatever it is that keep, you know, like, oh, like we saw this in the beginning, like it's the whole Chekhov's gun kind of thing. Not like he really used it, you know, but the symbolism there or whatever of like, hey, like this is why you're here, like what the point is and things like that. So like I think it was crazy too, because like he was even hesitant in the beginning of the movie to be like, maybe you should ask your parents. You know?
Because obviously it was like a controversial subject at the time.
Right.
So I like that he's like, I don't know if that's my place. And the kids like bully him into it, peer pressure.
Yeah. Basically. You get the sack, can't dodge the question, bitch. Oh, okay. Well, you guys suck. And here's what the patrol line is, I guess.
And that was such a good way of introducing us to the concept too of what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like him explaining it to the kids is why it was like a surface level, very easy. This is the situation.
This is what it is, and we don't know why, whatever. Yeah, don't be scared, kind of thing. So, yeah, I do. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was great. Pretty good adaptation. There's a couple times I was like, man, really hitting the feels or whatever. You know what I mean? Between him and Rocky, and it's like, especially like after he saves him. You know what I mean? You're just watching him like lay there, like not moving. You know, and even then he's still like, hey, I'm gonna watch over you, buddy. I'm gonna, you know, hopefully you wake up. I don't know what's going on. So yeah,
I mean, I'm almost willing to say this might be the best buddy in space movie I've ever seen.
How many buddy in space movies have you ever seen?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they make a lot. So
sorry, just throwing that out there, but I'm trying to think about it and I go, yeah, I've not seen a lot of buddy space movies. Does Spaceballs count?
I was just thinking that same thing.
If it would have just been Lone Star and him, maybe, but no.
I was gonna say I'm kind of in Keegan's corner too. I can see this movie being an Oscar contender, especially visual effects.
The sound.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up Buddy space movie, the first thing that comes up is Space Buddies, which was an offshoot of Air Bud.
That's crazy work.
Those dogs all died.
Yeah, is Jason X a Space Buddy movie or
not even a little bit?
No? Okay.
Would y'all consider Guardians of the Galaxy a space buddy movie?
No.
If you stretch that term very liberally, I can say.
I was gonna say a very, very loose meaning of the word of the term.
I'd say that's more of like an enemies to lovers kind of situation, David.
It's more a space Romeo and Juliet, shall we?
No, a space buddy movie for Guardians of the Galaxy would be if there was a movie that was just Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
That's what I would call that, a space buddy movie for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not. So I don't.
So here's the question. I think we're kind of wrapping up, but here's a question I want to ask before we give our final scores and everything. Where would you guys rank this in terms of this versus The Martian?
I thought this was way better than The Martian.
I'd put this above The Martian.
Yeah, I'd put it above The Martian.
I
I did
would-
watch The Martian the night before I went and saw this, just because I wanted to, get a little bit more
I
Andy
would put
Weir.
it above The Martian, but not by too much, because I actually really enjoyed The Martian.
Yeah, I think they're pretty close, just in different directions. I will say, if we're talking about like plausibility / believability, Martian has it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well, but that's
Martian
the thing
was
is,
a much more realistic space story.
well, as we've talked about this, like it's one of those things that Andy keeps a lot of the science, a lot of things like really close to accurate. You know what I mean? The only thing that was air quotes wrong in The Martian was you wouldn't have a dust storm or a windstorm on Mars. Like that's the only thing that's wrong with that book. So, you know what I mean? You got to change that or whatever just a little bit to get the plot going or whatever. And everything after that is all, the numbers check out, right? But yeah, I mean, and the only reason that this one doesn't fully check out is because, well, we don't know if there's cool rock guys in space.
I get why they didn't. This would have been the only thing I would have been okay with if it would have been like like some fan service. If they would have had like a little cameo from somebody from The Martian, like in this world.
Matt Damon.
That would have been,
or even a mention to it, even like a plaque, like in honor of it, something.
Jessica Chastain, Kate Mara.
Right. Like somebody, because theoretically, if you think about it, we could say The Martian takes place in between the time after the Hail Mary leaves, and they're using astrophage to explore more of our solar system to get there faster.
Right. Well, so I actually, you know what, David, I think I have the perfect idea for this. Right? Is like, remember how they're all on the ship and everybody's in the little chat room?
Yeah.
It would 1000% make sense that NASA would be there. You would have some NASA scientists or something.
Yeah, they easily could have had like one of the commanders or something. Just
so why not? Yeah, why not one of you bring Kate Mara back or Sebastian Stan or somebody like one of those like astronaut guys or even Jeff or even Jeff
that was in charge of NASA. Yeah,
because he's the head of the NASA program thing or whatever. Like just a small cameo or whatever would have been.
That's the only thing I kind of wish they would have done. I get why they didn't, and that it's not the same world or any of that stuff. But it would have been kind of cool for the movies.
but because like it's one of those ones like it fully stands to reason that NASA would be 1000% part of this.
They would have representation in that room. There's no way they wouldn't.
1000%, and that's what I mean. Like it's like it would just have a quick little cameo from Jeff Daniels, like just have him in the corner sitting there somewhere or whatever of like whatever. And then
even if it would have been like, hey, Sebastian Stan is an astronaut and he doesn't have the coma gene, but he's training these other,
or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a small little cameo would have been fun. It really would have.
I was kind of hoping. I didn't expect it, but I was like, if they added something, that would have been one that I'm okay with a little fan service for, because it would have been like, oh, that's cool, just like a little Easter egg,
a nifty Easter egg nod kind of thing. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
Well, see, the thing they did keep true to both films though is that Earth appears in both.
That is true.
Earlier today, Nate, go away. Yeah, somebody was like, it actually is a sequel. For those who pay attention, Earth is in both movies.
Yeah, that was the Onion. That was the Onion. I love that.
Ridiculous. But
Nolan, where would this rank with other like more grounded space movies like this for you?
I don't know if this is that grounded.
Okay. Just other space movies that aren't like Star Wars or Star Trek.
No, well, see, and that's where I would argue with you, David. Is like I think it really is right. Like if we were to do relatively grounded space movies,
I would say it's grounded except for Rocky.
Sure, but that's what I mean. It's like at the same time as
but that's
the only reason it's not grounded is because we don't know if there's aliens out there. We don't know if they'd be nice to us. We don't know that it would go this way. Obviously,
all right. Stop stalling. Answer the question. Where does it rank?
Honestly, I think it ranks pretty high for me. Like you know what I mean? Like The Martian and Hail Mary or whatever are up there.
What is your all-time favorite sci-fi movie?
Oof. That's a hard one.
Would this make your top 5?
Yes. This movie definitely makes my top 5. I will definitely say that for sure. Yeah, but I'd still put it up there pretty high, Keegan. Like overall, like pretty up there.
Like
as somebody who isn't like a huge like, I like sci-fi, but I've even said before, fantasy is by far more of my genre of choice.
Yeah.
So for someone who doesn't watch like a shit ton of sci-fi, I would say this is definitely in my top 5, maybe even top 3. I think they did a fantastic job.
Watching it and enjoying it that much, I would probably top 3 that one for sure.
Yeah, because it was very well done. And I mean, Martian's probably at least in my top 10, maybe even higher, because I think that was very well done as well.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. That movie's great.
Now I haven't read the book of that, so I can't compare it the same. But from this one, I have no complaints going from the book to the movie. I mean, I know this is blasphemy, especially as somebody who's a writer. I'll almost say I like the movie better than the book.
Damn. Well, you get that extra nugget of like that visual representation, I think is why, right? A lot of the times, like it's one of those ones that like both get their due or whatever, right? Like I was saying.
I think this one does a better job. Like they did sacrifice some of the science, which again is not as important to me, so I don't care as much. And I feel like they brought more of the heart and the humanity of Rocky, even though
and the things that made the movie great, 1000%.
Right. And I feel like that's where it really, like I said, I mean, I think I told you this when we were talking about it. I got teary-eyed in this movie.
Yeah,
even knowing how everything was going to go.
But that's how you know it's good, right? Like if it's one of those things, like you still know how it's going to go. You know
when they're saying goodbye to go their separate ways, like it hit me, man.
Right. I was like, especially the little dancing bit, just the,
yes, it was like, oh, like it was.
Ah, man,
you're jerking.
A little bit, absolutely. I would definitely, yeah. It was one of those ones that I same way. I was like, damn, still hits you in the feels a little bit, even though it's what's happening, you know what's going on. So, but
what do you think, Keegan? Where do you rank it in your sci-fi?
Pretty high up there.
I mean, we've already heard you say better than Jurassic Park Rebirth, so that's really all that needs to be said from you. That's a high enough mark.
I'm just thinking of like space movies, like 2001: Space Odyssey is going to be above it. This would be above like Ad Astra or The Martian. I don't know about Interstellar though. I do like Interstellar.
I've actually never seen Interstellar, so I can't.
I like this better than Interstellar personally. Though I know a lot of people fucking love Interstellar. So, what do you think, Nick?
I've never seen Interstellar.
No,
but I would definitely
sci-fi in general.
No. I mean, I would definitely put this movie in like. I would definitely put this movie in my top 10 of sci-fi films.
I like this one better than Independence Day, and that one's pretty up there.
That's a real good movie, though.
That's what I mean. Like
that's tough because that's a very good one. See, but I also don't get like Star Wars. I think of as more fantasy than sci-fi.
Space opera.
Yeah.
So I put it kind of
Space Wizards. Space Wizards.
Star Trek does a better job of being pure sci-fi, in my opinion, and I like this probably
I think
more
that's
than
a sci-fi. Though, really, if you get down to brass tacks, like they honestly they make a lot of science fiction like beginning things or whatever. Like the opening doors, like the self-opening doors, that wasn't a thing before Star Trek. Star Trek did it, and then it became a thing.
Oh yeah, no, they predicted and created a lot of things that are real now. I totally agree with that. They're revolutionary. Star Trek is a huge.
That's pretty much
no. I respect the fuck out of Star Trek. It's just not as much my show as Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I love Star Wars more than Star Trek because I just like the characters a lot better than the story.
Space wizards.
Space wizards, yeah.
Star Trek doesn't have any space wizards.
They don't. I mean, they got dudes with Snickers for foreheads.
I mean, just wait.
Cares about that.
We just got to wait to see Keegan's reaction when they do Jurassic Park in space.
No,
I can't wait for Jurassic Park in space.
They're gonna be like, okay, they keep getting out. Let's make it on the moon.
You know what?
Hell yeah! So, anyways.
Johnny, I completely agree. It is the best movie that's come out this year so far.
Hands down.
I don't know if it's going to keep that title because we do have a banger year for movies, but I'll tell you now, it will end the year. It'll end the year at least top 5 in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if it'll be number 1, especially with stuff like Doomsday.
Top 3, maybe 1.
It might be top 3 for me if I'm being honest.
I'll be disappointed if Doomsday is not better than this.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man was better than Doomsday.
It depends on what direction they go. It could go either way right now. I do agree, though. It's got a possibility.
I can see Spider-Man being better than Doomsday, but yeah.
It's going to take a lot. It's going to have to be a hell of a movie.
It's
going to have to be the Spider-Man movie we've always wanted to be better.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and it looks like they're doing, and I mean, just that trailer having the Punisher in it, the Hulk coming into it, him doing like street level stuff. It's going in the right direction. I'll say that.
How do you feel about the Rami webs?
I was like, you know what? Yeah. We might have some fire on our hands here. When he started messing around with the Punisher, so I was like,
I mean,
you know what?
I'm gonna like, guys,
Keegan. Hey, Keegan, go ahead, David.
I will be so happy if the end of this year we are having to have a debate on which Marvel movie was better because they were both just so good.
That would be
that'll be great. That'll be great.
I would love to be in that situation.
You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about that more when we actually talk about those movies.
We're talking about the movies.
No, cool, fine. I'll just go fuck myself. I was gonna keep it in the Project Hail Mary because that's
we're talking about in the lexicon of this year with Hail Mary. We're saying of what they would be against. We're not going in depth in those. Don't worry. I get what you're doing. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a strong contender for one of the best movies of the year.
I think it's going to be a strong year. I hope it's good for Hollywood. We definitely want them to survive.
Theaters need it. I agree. I don't want to have to look at most movies just going straight to streaming.
Yeah, no way.
I think that would be the saddest thing ever if movies die. If theaters die, I would be so depressed.
Speaking of which, great time, David. Dude, look at this thing.
Oh, I love that. And I've got my Rocky enclosure here, which I showed you guys, and it comes with Rocky. He goes inside. It's okay. I've pressurized my room, so he's okay to be out here right now.
Yeah, dude, these sweet popcorn buckets.
This one even comes with a strap to put it around your neck to carry it around.
Oh, that's even cooler. I didn't get one of the straps, but yeah, this cool little Grace's helmet or whatever is like super cool.
I think for a non-franchise movie, they fucking killed it with the popcorn buckets.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like they don't usually do a lot for movies like no. These are awesome. I would say this is probably my favorite bucket of the year, but we all know that's going to be the one that I get in 2 weeks. The Yoshi bucket with the new Super Mario Galaxy movie.
It came out and they had it at the theater. I saw it and I was like,
you should have bought it.
This is a hard choice.
Very hard to get. I'm waiting till I go see it at AMC because they're not releasing it till the day of the movie, and I'm going to like the midnight release of the movie, so I'll get one.
Yeah, they had them at the Tinseltown. They had it out, and it's crazy because like you open the front of the egg,
and that's the popcorn
back there that goes.
And I heard it's like huge.
You know, it's honestly huge. It is a big bucket.
Oh, I feel so. I've been so suckered in by fucking popcorn buckets. I have like a collection now.
And if I'm being honest, Dave, if I would have known that you were looking for that one or into that one, I probably would have snagged it for you, buddy.
No, I like getting it at the actual movie and then using it for popcorn. So like I've seen them online. I could have grabbed some, but I was like, I like to actually get it at the movie. This was the only one in a long time that I didn't get at the movie because this wasn't out when I saw the early screening. Nobody had this one out yet. Right. So I made a trip to the movie theater specifically last week just to get this popcorn bucket and leave. They're like, "Do you want popcorn with it?" And I was like, "No, because I'm not going to a movie." So
it's unfortunate, but it still counts. You know what I mean? Because it's still week of or whatever. Obviously, they're not going to have.
I liked the movie. I liked the movie so much that I went back several days later to still spend $30-something to get this.
To get the thing, yeah.
So absolutely. That should be a sign right there of how good this movie was, because it's usually an impulse buy that people would be like, "Oh, it's fine." I literally made a special trip to go to a different theater just to get this bucket.
But yeah, dude, the dope popcorn bucket is dope. It really is.
They killed it with the designs. I love them.
So, anyways, all right. I will wrap this up. Bring it around town. We'll start with you, Keegan. Where's it at? What are we giving it? What's your ratings?
I guess initial ratings, I will say a solid 9. Like
are you gonna go see it more? Is that?
Well, eventually I'll see it again. Like I know I'll watch this one at some point in the future. I don't know about in theaters, but definitely I'll be buying it on Blu-ray. I love the visuals. What?
Did you take your daughter to go see it or no?
No.
You think she would enjoy it?
She might enjoy it.
And I always say
anybody above the age of about 10 would probably like this movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, he's a cool character. He's funny. I'm sure she'd enjoy it a little bit.
And there's nothing in it that I would think is questionable, like adult content, really.
No. And like I said, I love the visuals. I really like the soundtrack and how they mixed both the orchestra with a couple of pop songs, like pop culture songs, but they didn't put Champagne Supernova in the movie. And I was like, what the heck?
Missing opportunities, obviously.
Missing opportunities a little bit. But no, it was super good. Yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, recommend it. I don't know if the Goose came out with any great jackets in this one like he usually does, but it is what it is, right?
No, he had that really cool jacket.
The really cool cardigan jacket, yeah.
He gets that jacket with the Hail Mary patch and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. that he wears for most of the movie. Like I guess it's like
the one that you as the thumbnail that I just like wrote off.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's that was actually a really like I would love a jacket with a Hail Mary patch. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, probably a 42 regular on the jacket sizing. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I get.
Good job, Nolan.
All right, 9 out of 10 for Keegan. What do you got, David?
That joke fell so flat.
It's okay. You guys don't know ball. It's cool. Anyways,
I know it. I know what you're talking about.
I as the only person wearing a jacket right now, I got it. It just wasn't funny. No, like I told you guys, like if I was making this movie, I would not have changed anything. So I feel like it's disingenuous to give it anything less than a 10. Like if I couldn't have made it better, I mean, I don't like to give stuff perfect scores usually, but this was fantastic in almost everything I would have wanted, especially coming from somebody who read the book. Like that's usually more of a place to like pick at it and find flaws. I think they fucking nailed it. The soundtrack was great. I really love the use of the Sign of the Times as like the trailer song. Like that's been so good. I think this...
Usually they give you like the song or whatever for the trailer and kind of stuff, and then they don't ever use it, but they use it for like that whole nostalgia bait kind of bullshit, and then
it worked. It worked so well.
I think it. I agree.
The couple things they added, I think, were great. They added to it the characterization. You can tell the author was involved in this, which is always a good sign, I think, in adaptations. Characterization was really good. Everything hit. Nothing dragged in this movie. There was no point that I was like, this is going kind of long, or like,
checking.
Never thought of that. Never checked my phone during the movie. I think it wasn't a perfect movie, but it was damn near close to it. So I have no problem giving it a 10 out of 10. And I'm going to say now, at least at this point, this is the best movie of Ryan Gosling's career in terms of his acting and what he has done, because he carried this movie. I think it's the first time that a movie was carried purely by him. Because even in stuff like Drive, it has a lot to do with the elements and other things. Like this lived or died on Ryan Gosling. And I think it gave him the opportunity to absolutely sail. He did a great job. And yeah, I would not be surprised, like Nick was saying about Oscar stuff, if we see him up for an Oscar for this. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I could see a nomination for this movie.
A nomination at least. Yeah, I will definitely agree with that on that, because like realistically, like Rocky was great and fun and cool, but I don't think if Gosling falls flat that Rocky carries the rest of the movie.
It doesn't matter, because it was his interactions with Rocky that made Rocky. You had to have both of them perfect to make it work. And I absolutely see this very strong contender. I know we said visual effects and everything. I think best screenplay adaptation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see. Yeah.
Huh?
Actually, yeah. The only thing that would have made my movie going experience better would have been if I was sitting next to Grayson.
We could have all watched it together. Absolutely.
I wish I could have been in that theater when he saw it just the other day.
Missing out so hard.
Great, nasty. What you got for me, buddy?
After the eloquacious review that David just gave this movie, I don't want to be a copycat and follow it up with a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to say it's a solid 9.5 for me. The movie was very well done. It was very cut out the parts that I did not enjoy. Sped up the process a little bit as well. It was still probably my favorite movie of 2026. Just because well-made, Phil Lord and Chris Miller are just two filmmakers that just, they know how to make a movie. They know how to make visual media. It's always entertaining, no matter what it is that they make. It's always a good time. So and they're always very meticulous, and everything that they make always has a touch of, care put into it. And you can definitely tell that with this movie for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So with that, I'm going to stay with a 9.5 out of 10. And yeah, I think it's a good time, and it's definitely worth going to check out.
Hell yeah. Berg?
I'm going with Keegan. I think it's a solid 9 out of 10. I would recommend it. I would definitely be watching it again. I'll be buying it on Blu-ray once it comes out.
Yeah, this is a 4K buy for me for sure when it comes out, because I also have The Martian in 4K, and they look really, really good. Like it's quite a visual stunning kind of situation.
I would say they definitely did more stunning space shots in this one than the
Oh,
Martian,
for sure.
just because they're so much further out and everything.
They're in space, like
Yeah.
actual space or whatever, versus just being like on Mars, the planet. So, but okay, so 9 out of 10.
Phage and it's all pink and stuff. It looked good.
Yeah, you know what? Before you do yours, Nolan, I will say we didn't really talk about that. The planet, like the Tau planet and stuff, was gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
when we had like the whole screen with this green that's behind Keegan and stuff, like it was definitely like all the swirling gases. And
it just reminded me of like when you put cream in your coffee,
Yeah,
that just looks cool.
They put cream in your coffee.
And they did that scene really well where he had to get just low enough to go through the clouds to get it.
Just to get yes,
very well.
That's one thing I forgot to bring up. I did like the little capture device, the little ball and chain like mace thing. They just throw out there. I make this. Okay, you're just gonna like fishing? Yeah. Okay.
He's just like, yep, gonna make it. How much chain do we need?
Yeah. Fishing was great. But yeah, no, for me, it's one of those ones that I'm gonna give it a 9.5. Be a 10 if I had my science. Needs a little more science. I know everybody doesn't agree, but yeah, solid, dude. Solid 9.5. And I would definitely recommend anybody go watch it. If you remotely are interested in fun, space.
Just if you're remotely interested in fun, if you like to enjoy your life.
If you're remotely interested in fun, you're going to be remotely interested in this.
If you're remotely interested in watching a good movie, because I know that we've been so deprived of those for so long. If I'm being honest, I think.
To be fair, Hoppers was really good.
Was it?
It was very good. It was probably one of the better Pixar movies of the past 5-6 years.
Okay, not seen it, but haven't gone to watch that. Very good. Either way, for me, it's one of those ones I can tell you this is probably top 5 of the last 2 to 3 years for me. There's not been a lot of movies that I've watched that I've been like.
So hold on, Nolan. Good movie. Nolan, are you telling me this movie for you, was better than Jurassic Park Rebirth?
Look, I know it's very hard. It's very difficult to believe, David.
There wasn't even a Snickers bar in this one.
But believe. There were Skittles, though. There were Skittles and Twizzlers. Lots of Skittles, lots of Twizzlers. Not some mysterious rapper, though, getting caught in an engine. Okay?
That joke.
This movie
that joke was too good.
Science checks out, Keegan. Just saying. Anyways.
Even with the science light, it at least made sense. You know what? 100%
a Snickers bar shuts down a high security science door? Nah.
No. I'm gonna say right now, I am 100% on the Nolan train when it comes to explaining science a little more when you tell me why we have to get DNA from the 3 largest creatures.
Yeah,
because they gave us no reason for that. They were just like, we just got to do it.
Genital heart
failure. Get these guys a cup of science already. Good.
They're we gotta get them from the biggest because they're the biggest.
Grayson, I would
literally
like that.
One of them, they could have even been like, "Why do we have to do that?" And the guy be like,
"One of the official, cup of science. I'll make sure we get one more." There's a reason why Etsy stores exist, buddy.
Yeah, right. We gotta get those custom made. But yes, I do think it was better than Jurassic Park Rebirth or Recrappening or whatever the hell it was.
The Recrappening.
The
Jurassic Park Recrappening.
That's the next film's title.
Because realistically, Keegan, that movie sometimes it makes me want to imagine a world where that movie doesn't exist, and I want to live there. That's where we're gonna live.
I heard in that world. Hey. I don't want to harp on this because we're not talking about that movie right now, but I will say I've heard that in that world, in those universes where that movie doesn't exist, we never attacked Iran.
That's possibly that.
Crazy. Gas is down to $1.50 right now in those worlds.
Hell yeah.
Because there's a lot more fossil fuels to go around.
Hey yo. Anyways, basically, like I said, 9.5. Need a little bit more science to get that 10. But if you want to watch a really good movie and just keep it plain that, a really good movie, you don't even have to be into science or aliens or anything like that. Just a movie with good heart, a good feel, a good adaptation of a pretty good book, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Definitely go out there, go see it. You will probably enjoy it, and you will probably have faith in watching movies again.
I think if you go see this, you too will believe in the Hail Mary.
Yes. Yeah. It's a, look, I honestly, at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a long shot that they were making this movie and it'd be good anyways. But, sometimes you throw up
they caught it in the end zone.
The Minnesota Miracle or whatever, you know what I mean? You throw it out there.
They did really well with this film. So I kind of had the same fear that it was going to be a terrible film, and they did really well with it.
Yeah, this is a Hail Mary that actually gets caught.
I will never doubt Phil Lord or Chris Miller again. I can't believe that I did, but they definitely they delivered for sure.
They have proven multiple times now that they know what they're doing with movies.
Well, like, just to even think about it, like back in the day when you heard that they were making a movie about 21 Jump Street, did anybody have any reason to think that movie was going to be good?
No, and then it was so funny. It was so funny.
That was the movie that put me.
Movie of that decade.
That movie actually had me change my feeling about Channing Tatum. I hated him before that movie.
Same.
After that one, I was like, damn, I actually kind of like Channing Tatum. He's kind of funny. He's a funny dude.
And I really thought 22 was going to jump the shark. It was just as funny.
100%.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite after credit scenes is them going through all the different schools, like sequel movies.
The cooking school one was great.
Yeah, they clown school, cooking school.
Art school's still my favorite.
Have you really, how long do you think you can do this? How many times do you think you guys can do the same thing over and over before people start noticing? But
I love it.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, I guess that makes it pretty much, an overall score of what, 9.25? I
think it's the highest rated pop culture movie we've ever done.
Just saying. You know what I mean? Must be.
I'll have to go back and check because I know some have gotten pretty high, but I don't think we've all done 9s and 10s.
I've never given anything more than a 7.5 or an 8. So
that's because you're a miserable bastard.
Don't get Crow or Jurassic Park Rebirth. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, those are definitely bottom tier.
Keegan did really love the Joker sequel, remember?
Yeah, Folia did. Yeah.
I pretty much pressed that movie out of my mind. I don't remember its existence.
I've not watched. Hey Keegan, on a serious note, have you watched Folia Do since you and I saw it in the theater?
Oh, one time, yeah.
You watched it again?
Yeah,
I've never watched it again.
You learned that he loves to watch terrible movies, a la Rebirth.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
How did you find the absolute will to put that movie back on and not turn it off halfway through?
It went down for me in my love, and by love I mean lukewarm.
Okay.
His toleration.
We're gonna get off live, but first before.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to our Hail Mary.
Wait, I have two questions before we do this. First, the first question, Keegan specific. What was the final count of how many times you saw Rebirth in theaters?
I think 4.
Jesus.
Okay.
Whoa.
We'll talk to you later about that. And then my second question, can we all agree collectively?
Did I miss an intervention or something? Like, God.
That Rocky was the MVP of this movie.
Absolutely.
I think Rocky was our MVP of the book too. Like,
I agree. But they could have screwed it up so much. They could have made him a much cuter alien or something for palability. But two big thumbs down in my opinion.
I want a Rocky plush. I honestly.
Now they're making them. You can get it now. I almost bought at the same theater that they had this with the enclosure. They had a little shoulder one with a magnet that he would stay on your shoulder, and I was like, "That's really cute."
Yeah.
But all right, I think we have covered this all. So thank you guys for being here for Pop Culture. We got a very busy summer season coming up, so we will be jumping back into the flow of this. But our next big thing coming up, we do have another live in just over, I think, about 2 weeks from now, 2 Mondays from now. Keegan, do you want to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so 2 Mondays from now, we're back to the Society of Main Characters, and we're doing A Night to Remember. Felt like it tied in because it's April when the actual Titanic sank. So
the book is about Titanic, for those who didn't know.
Yeah. To be fair, it is a pretty big movie. They've made it a couple times. The 1953 one's the most well-known. And I think a lot of Titanic people like that one for accuracy-wise more than James Cameron's.
Now, but we all know we love James Cameron's because
I got 2 reasons.
Is topless.
Yeah,
I got 2 reasons right there. There. Those are both of them.
But we also have something new in the works. I've teased it a little bit. So just stay tuned for that. You guys will be seeing it drop on a Wednesday, I think the first week of April. So just keep an eye out for that. So we will be back, though.
So until then, believe in the Hail Mary. We'll see you next time.